Night Beat.
Hi, this is Randy Stone. I cover the night beat for the Chicago Star. Stories start in many different ways. This one began on an elevated train and ended in eternity.
Night Beat, starring Frank Lovejoy as Randy Stone.
The night is just about washed up. The sky is getting that tattletale gray around the edges. Another hour or so, 3 million alarm clocks will start yakking against the eardrums of Chicago's dear hearts and gentle people. A goodly number of said dear hearts and gentle people will stumble to the front door for their copy of the Morning Star. I'm wondering what they'll say when they read the opening sentence of the Night Beat story for today. The line that goes, "This is a love story with the happiest ending I've ever heard." I guess they'll figure spring has got me in its perfume clutches, and more than likely I'll wind up around a bologna sandwich, and that'll be that. Only if they just keep reading, maybe they'll be in for a strange kind of surprise. It started a little after 10 o'clock last night. I just boarded an elevated train and was on my way to the Loop. The train was pretty crowded, but I saw an empty seat up front, and I hurried for it. I started sitting down without looking.
Anton, where have you been?
I beg your pardon?
Oh, I've waited so long, Anton.
The girl sitting next to me. I noticed her for the first time. About 20, maybe. And so beautiful, so delicately beautiful, it was like your eyes had hit the jackpot, and somehow the grinding elevator train suddenly sounded like a gypsy violin.
Oh, Anton, you shouldn't have gone away.
Look, I hate to tell you this, but I think you've got me mixed up.
Oh, it's so good to hear you, to be near you, Anton. So good.
Yeah, it's good to be near you, too, kid. But...
Won't ever go away again, will you?
I'd like to stay here forever.
Oh, promise me, Anton. Promise me you'll never go away.
Beautiful as she was, it started giving me the creeps. If I'd been Anton, I'd have enjoyed it immensely, but being as how I was two other guys, I didn't see it. And also, there was something about her eyes, a disturbing brightness. I didn't know what to do about it, and before I could decide,
Lake Street transfer.
I reached my transfer station. I started getting up.
Anton, no, don't go.
Oh, lady, look, it's my station.
Don't leave me again, Anton. Please, no.
Now, take it easy. Let go of me. What's wrong with you? This is my station.
Anton, I can't let you leave me again. I won't.
Well, you'll just have to, kiddo. Now let go. My sleeves on.
Oh, no.
She folded up like a little rag doll into a dead faint. I bent over her, picked up her arm to massage her wrist. It was like touching a hot stove. She was burning up with fever. Passengers in the car were crowding around. The conductor still hadn't given the signal for the train to leave the station. I picked the girl up in my arms. It was like lifting a 10-year-old kid. She must have weighed a fast 90 pounds. I carried her out of the train onto the platform. Someone called for an ambulance. She was still unconscious when the ambulance came. She looked so small and so lost and so alone. And, well, according to her, I was Anton, so the least Anton could do would be to sit beside her on the long ride to the hospital. She was still out cold when we reached County Hospital. They found her name and address inside her purse. Mrs. Marisha Nowak, 612 Larrabee Street. I waited around to see what was wrong with her. After almost an hour, they said I could go upstairs and talk to the doctor.
Oh, Mr. Stone?
Oh, yes. Doctor, I wanted to see you about that girl I brought in, Marisha Nowak.
Yes. A relative of yours?
Oh, no. I just met her tonight.
Oh, I'm afraid we've got to contact some relative right away.
Nothing you can do for her, huh?
Do for her? Poor kid's been sick for years and waits till she's dying before she comes to a hospital.
Well, it takes money to go to a hospital, Doc.
Not here. Why didn't she come here? What's wrong with these people? Are they proud or stupid? 3 years ago, maybe we could have done something for her, but now...
Well, yeah.
I don't know, Mr. Stone. I don't know. It's completely frustrating. You study medicine, what good does it do? Sometimes life doesn't seem to make any sense.
Since when is it supposed to make sense?
I sound like this is my first patient. Not very professional, I'm afraid.
But don't worry about it. It's human.
Now, this girl keeps talking about her husband, Anton.
Well, she was talking that way when I met her.
Yes, he's supposed to take her away someplace, to Mexico, she says, where it's warm and she'll get well. What do they expect? Miracles?
Oh, sure, miracles. Maybe Mexico was going to be her miracle.
Do you have any idea how to contact her husband?
But doesn't the girl know where he is?
Doesn't seem to, even when she's not delirious. Got an address from her purse, a place over on Larrabee Street, north of Chicago Avenue.
Yes, I know that neighborhood. Furnished rooms with kitchen privileges. Bring your own mousetraps. Lovely.
No phone listing. I was thinking of calling the police.
Yeah.
Trouble is, there's so little time.
Well, how much time?
I don't know. Could happen 5 minutes from now. 5 hours.
Well, tell you what, I'll drop by her address and see what I can find out.
Doctor, she's conscious again. Rational.
Oh.
She wants to talk to you.
All right, nurse. Care to see her, Mr. Stone?
Yeah. The doc turned and walked into the room, and I followed him. That's a nice, promising beginning for a love story with a happy ending, Only when we got inside Marisha Nowak's room, the joke was on me. There was no hearts and flowers. She was even more beautiful than before. Her black hair spread out on the white pillow, her delicate face, and the lovely eyes following us as we came into the room. No fear in those eyes. None at all. Just a sort of questioning.
Doctor, have you found him yet?
Not yet, Marisha. We're still trying. This is Mr. Stone. He's trying to help us locate your husband.
Oh, I hope you find him. Poor Anton. He'll feel so bad if you don't find him in time.
Well, of course he will. That's why the doctor'd like you to tell me anything you can that might help us find him.
But I told the doctor. He went to find work, my Anton, so he could take me away where I could get well and could be a wife to him.
Does it bother you to talk? Does it tire you?
No, I like talking about him. And there's so little time.
Doctor said you were planning on going to Mexico.
To Las Flores, the little town of the flowers in Veracruz. My ring is from Mexico. See? Silver and turquoise.
It's nice.
We were married with 2 rings. Exactly alike. Silver and turquoise.
You think Anton could have gone there, to Mexico?
No, he'd never have gone there without me. The little town of the flowers. Like we planned on our honeymoon. Just like it said in the travel folder. With thousands of blossoms on the water. Perfuming the air. But we went to a real hotel here in Chicago on our honeymoon. Anton insisted on it. Even though we couldn't afford it. It was in the winter and it was cold in Chicago like now. Icicles hung from the trees, breaking the branches. But in the room it was warm. And we had each other.
Look out the window, Mauricia. You know, I've never seen the lake from up high. Isn't it beautiful?
Oh, Anton. I'm so happy, Anton. But wasn't it extravagant coming here to a hotel? I'd have been just as satisfied going straight to our room.
On Larrabee Street? Nah, Mauricia, not on our honeymoon. We'll have time enough for that. How could you possibly imagine anything beautiful from a furnished room on Larrabee Street?
Darling.
But here, this is different. It's more than a hotel room in Chicago overlooking the lake. This is what we've dreamed of. Imagine it's Las Flores.
Oh, yes.
The little town of the flowers. Look out there, Mauricia. That isn't snow. It's thick tropical foliage. And those aren't icicles hanging from the trees. They're blossoms. And the wind is warm and soft outside. Oh, you'll get well, Mauricia. We don't need money. We can live for practically nothing. Fresh fruit growing on trees. All we can eat.
Oh, we will go there, Anton. We will. And I'll get well there. I'll be a wife to you, Anton. Just you wait and see. But we didn't go to Mexico. And then Anton went away.
And you haven't heard from him since?
No. But I don't blame him. Why should a man stay with a wife who's sick?
Oh, no. You said yourself you went away to earn money for your trip.
Yes. Yes, that's it. But now if I could only see him once more, just once, to tell him not to feel badly, to be happy for what we had. If I could only tell him not to feel sorry. Because it was the same as if we really had been to us, Flores.
Well, you better rest now. I'll try to find him. It's tough when they know they're going to die. It's not that they're scared, but suddenly there's something they feel they've got to do when time is running out. That's how it was with Marisha Noack. She had to find her Anton to tell him it was okay about a little town in Mexico that neither one of them had ever seen or ever would see. How do you find a guy like that, and what was I doing looking for him? Oh, well. I took a cab back to the Loop. I picked up my car and drove over to the Larrabee Street address. It was a rooming house, all right, and the poorest-looking one on the block. I rang the bell and I waited. A middle-aged woman came to the door.
What is it?
Are you the manager?
If you're looking for a room, I got no vacancy.
Oh, no, I don't want a room. You have someone living here by the name of Noack?
Yes, but she ain't home. She ain't been here all day.
I know that. She's in the hospital.
The hospital? Oh, the poor thing. I was worried about her. She's never been out late like this.
Is her husband here, Anton Noack?
Oh, I know. He ain't been here for a long time. Working someplace out of the city, I think.
Well, do you have any idea where? I've got to find him. Mrs. Noack is... Well, they don't expect her to live. He's got to be notified.
Oh, no. Oh, that poor little girl. For such a long time she's been sick. Come on in, please. Maybe there's something in here written down. Or maybe Mr. Noack's brother would know.
His brother? Where does he live?
Well, now, I don't know exactly. He's the one that's been sending Mrs. Noack money to live on while her husband's been away.
That was a beginning. We found an envelope from the brother in the girl's room, Paul Noack. He lived on Clark Street in the Lincoln Park neighborhood. I drove over. There was a man coming down the steps as I got out of my car. I stopped him when he got to the sidewalk. I beg your pardon?
Yes?
I saw you coming out of that building. You wouldn't be Paul Noack, would you?
Why do you ask?
Well, I'm from the Chicago Star. I'm trying to locate Anton Noack.
Well, I can't help you. I don't know anything about him. Excuse me, I'm late to work.
Mr. Noack. You are his brother, aren't you?
Yes, but...
Well, what's the matter with you?
I don't know anything about him. He's gone away someplace to work.
Look, fellow, I got to find her. Marisha's very sick.
Marisha?
She's in the hospital.
Oh, I didn't know.
I got to find your brother right away.
I told you, I don't know where he is. My brother and I... Well, we don't see each other. I haven't seen him since he left.
But he's written to you. He must have. You've been sending money to his wife.
All right. It's none of your business, but I'll tell you. I had one letter from him. He asked me to do what I could for Marisha until he could send for her.
Where was the letter from? Say where he was working?
Someplace in Montreal. He didn't give any address. Some fur company, like Chicago Montreal Furs.
Well, it doesn't sound like you're telling me the truth, Mr. Noack, but I can't see why you'd want a thing like that on your conscience.
I'm telling you the truth.
Well, okay, but don't take it so hard.
Oh, Marisha. That poor kid. I'll see you the first thing tomorrow.
Well, you better make it tonight.
I can't. I just can't. We're right in the middle of our tax work.
Oh, yes. Mm-hmm. Yeah, well, I see your point. Only thing is that tomorrow she'll be dead.
It's not true. Doctors are notorious for saying things like that. I don't believe it for a minute.
Would you believe it if you weren't in the middle of your tax work, Mr. Noack?
Now, you have no right to talk to me like that. No right at all. I'll see you tomorrow, I tell you. I'll see you tomorrow. You get out of my way. Get out of my way and stay out of my life. Stay out of my life or you'll regret it, Mr. Stone.
Now, what was that for?
NBC is presenting Night Beat, starring Frank Lovejoy as Randy Stone.
A love story with a happy ending. Yes, that's what the man said. Only right at the moment, if there was any happiness in the world, it was staying out of my sight. Almost midnight, and Marisha Noack up at the hospital hanging on to life by her fingernails until I could find her husband, Anton. Nothing to go on but the name Anton's brother had thrown at me, the Chicago-Montreal Fur Company. I looked it up in the phone book. It was there, all right. I started dialing the number. I didn't imagine anybody be around this time of the night, but it was the only lead I had at the moment. There weren't too many